Fred Van Liew here, and I am privileged to have Dr. Paul Yanik on the line with me. And we're, for the first time in literally about 6 years, we've gotten Dr. Yanik out to where he is going to be sharing for 2 solid days with the public as well as doctors the breakthroughs that he has had in that time, particularly in the last 3 years. And there are over 10 major secrets, you could call them, because they are that profound in the revelations of what they do regarding the function of our body and our body's ability to resist the plethora of all the assaults from chaos in the environment, the toxins, the electronics, the satellites, cell phone, billions of cell phone calls, and it just goes on and on. And most importantly, to me, is the assault on our bodies by modern nutrition. And Dr. Paul Yanik has been at the core in my life for well over a dozen, must be almost 15 years now at least. I have a hard time looking backwards. But it's been too long since we've been able to tap into the brilliance of this man. He is the most brilliant formulator that I know, and he is the most brilliant researcher. He not only is able to gather the research of others, but he reassembles that, and with his own clinical work in the field, he is able to come up with solutions that I've not seen anyone else provide. And to have him for 2 solid days is something not to be missed. I don't know when it'll ever happen again, if it'll ever happen again. I am truly hoping that his own work will keep him alive for 200 more years. But Dr. Yanik he is the founder of the American Association of Quantum Medicine. He had the most read column in the Townsend newsletter for quantum medicine. But beyond that, he has more doctorates and degrees, legitimate doctorates and degrees. Thank heavens his son cataloged these on a disc. Doc didn't even know it because I had wanted to, find out what some of these were, and some of them so long ago. And there they were, all the real degrees. It's phenomenal. He has a number of inventions and patents, including some of the finest patents ever on the original hearing aids that actually worked. Dr. Yanik had to save his own life in his early 20s. That led to much of the work that you and I are benefiting from, because he was written off. He was going to die, according to the medical profession. He has he had lost virtually all of his hearing. He still has some hearing challenges. And this, again, many tens of thousands, if not millions of people now have benefited from his patents and from his inventions. Excuse me. On top of that, Doc has taught in a number and done research in a number of universities and colleges. And Doc, could you give us a couple of those that you in the past had worked at?
Yes. In the late 70s, I did research at the Temple University School of Medicine. I also held national seminars at Penn State University, City University. We did research also. And then I worked at a number of leading New Jersey medical centers and hospitals doing the original research connecting nutrition to neurological problems like tinnitus, to vertigo, to hearing loss and things of that nature. So I started very early in my life connecting nutritional deficits to neurological problems.
Well, over the years, I've sent some of the toughest cases that I've ever encountered, in particularly life-threatening, and I've watched you perform virtual miracles in some cases, turning people around, and they're still thriving today, and others where you bought them several years, additional years of profitable life, and it's not just life, it's quality of life. And this is where your breakthroughs are so important today. Doc, as you know, we're assaulted by Obamacare, we're assaulted by idiots making calls in Washington, D.C., and we have vested interests in medical insurance and the doctors themselves. It's just a nightmare out there. And the way I see it is we have to learn to take care of ourselves. And to take care of ourselves, we must take care of that which takes care of us, and that's our body's intelligence, designed by God, a perfect functioning mechanism, but it needs the right tools. It needs the right energy or harmonics. It's very special in its functioning. Now, I'm about to expose myself here, Doc, because the people know me through ewater.com, through Trinosol, and the nourishment, the core nourishment in Trinosol in my bulldozer pack is yours. That's what makes it work so fabulously. And we have had such consistency of result. Nothing has compared, or I would have switched. And yet you've made me realize there's more. And it seems there's always more with you. But you're impossible to work with. You're impossible. You are uncompromising. You always seek the truth. You won't bend the truth, not ever. And it's very difficult to work with you for that reason, Doc. However, I wouldn't have it any other way. And that includes now. You have made it possible for me to upgrade our EFAs, even now, and we'll go into that a little bit, to 4 times the anti-inflammatory support. It just goes on and on. The polarity. But you've also presented me with the potential to nourish the body in a manner that people that come to these 2 days in October, I believe it's 13 and 14th, October 13 and 14, they are going to learn how to support their body in ways no one else but you is doing properly. Can you explain why I would make such an outlandish statement and literally lay bare naked in front of people saying, as good as what we're doing, Doc has found a way we can do it even better with greater results?
Well, there's a lot of myths, and commercialism is, of course, filling the minds of people with propaganda about this healthcare solution or that healthcare solution. But really, all healing is within us. Hippocrates said a long time ago, we have a doctor within us, an inner physician. If we learn how to nourish that inner physician and to integrate it, restore its functional unity, we can restore its ability to heal the body and to regenerate the body better than anything else out there. And the one thing that we have to learn how to do it is trust in the wisdom that's in nature. The power of nature is in the ecosystem and the microbial cells. And so if we trust in that power and learn how to put back what we've lost through taking antibiotics or natural anti-infectives like boiled silver or anything of that nature in the past, then we're able to be in a position to really restore the healer within our bodies.
Well, people, you can see from even the graphics that I'm just going to go through. It's not that they're necessarily tied to what we're talking about directly, but can you imagine 2 days of graphics of this quality gives you a picture into the mind of this man and the quality of what he does. Doc, you're also going to be presenting ways that we can actually test ourselves and test our family, and doctors who will be able to test their patients with accuracy that most machines can't even compare to. Although I do know you back up your findings. These are indicators. You back up your findings quite often with very traditional testing.
Yes. Yes. The scientific validation in the past 5 years has been very, very rewarding for me. So many university centers, I think over 24 global research centers, have confirmed the fact that our bacterial ecosystem outnumbers our human cells 10 to 1. And that's where the power of nature is. That's where the power of healing is. If we put back what we lost in this ecosystem within our body, then we can digest our food better, we can detoxify better, we can conquer inflammation, and we can produce all kinds of unknown nutrients that are so important to the healing process. And you see the quote right here from Scientific American, June 2012. They said, we have a superorganism potential and we host this community. All we have to do is provide a habitat for these microbial cells to grow and flourish, to get strong, and to go into 3 to 400 strains, not just a mere few that are in current probiotics today.
So you're saying we can't just take a handful of probiotics from the health food store or grocery store or a little yogurt and get this all taken care of?
No, the microbe to microbe relationship has to be in the right ratios and potencies for them to grow and flourish and to find a permanent home, not just to be transient, go through the system, but to find a permanent home and then colonize into 300 strains. Now, the genetic diversity is very exciting here because the gut microbiome, or the genes of the microbial cells, contain 3.3 million genes, whereas human cells only 20 to 30,000 genes. So this potential, this is the superorganism potential we could have if we have all these genes producing nutrients that are unknown, anti-cancer compounds, all kinds of healing, anti-inflammatory compounds, antitoxins. They help us detoxify. They ferment our food so that we get more nourishment from our food. They do all these wonderful things, but it's really important to control the microbe to microbe ratios and have something that's going to colonize and work. And we've done this now we've had the same product now for over 8 years, and the clinical results being reported back from doctors in our association are incredible.
Now, you use the word control, and it's not something I hear you say a lot, because you're not really controlling as you are supporting those balances. Telling the body what to do is something I found just doesn't work. And I know that's not what you do. You absolutely work with the body, and because the body knows what it needs to do, it just doesn't have the resources. That's what makes your work stand out so profoundly above what others have done. Although, like I say, you tap into their work, and somehow, how is it you're able to glean the best of what they're doing and discard where they're maybe a little bit off and put it all together in this whole new understanding of what has always been? But somehow, isn't that true? We've gotten so far away from how the body really functions. Can we just grab a handful of supplements and put them in the body, and the body figures out how it works?
It doesn't work that way. It's really defining what nourishment does it take to restore the body's inner position, especially at the microbial level, because we need pre-digested nutrition there. We need symbiotic pre-digested nourishment, which I've been saying for the past decade or two. And then with the neurons, we need a special kind of lipids. Unfortunately, most of the oils and omega fatty acid products, and most of what's on the market is peroxidized and non-polar. A non-polar lipid diminishes the nervous system, whereas a polar lipid enhances it. And that's what we want. We really want to look at carefully. What are we putting in our body? What is working to enhance the inner position, and what is working to diminish it? Those are things we have to define. We'll teach at the seminar.
And you have allowed me to help already thousands of people with part of what you'll be sharing. I'm just so excited about the rest of it, and also the hands-on, the workshop part of it, where all the participants, regardless of whether they have their degreed backgrounds in medicine, in naturopathy, or in homeopathy, or whether they're energy workers, or whether they're just concerned parents or individuals who want to know how to take care of their health properly. Would you agree that with the information you provide, it's not about specific product, although specific recommendations will be given? It's about the understanding of how it works, so that as products change or maybe remove from availability, that you've always had a problem with that. We've got an FDA, and we've got a system that really makes it very hard to deal with the truth in healthcare.
Yes, that's true. That's very true. So what we have in our main focus is on restoring the embryologic wisdom, the patterns that form the body, the intelligence that made the body. It's backtracking and saying, well, where did the inner position get sidetracked? Where is it not whole and integrated? And once we define out where it's functionally deficient or out of tune with the rest of the system, then we're able to understand, we can actually predict a percentage, and an accurate percentage of the deficit on the body's inner position. And that's exciting.
That is exciting. That is exciting. Now, again, October 13th and 14th, I believe are the dates, but you can get them specifically and details on pwbseminars.com. That's professionalwealthbuildingseminars.com. P as in Paul, wealth, W, B as in building, seminars.com. pwbseminars.com, and you click on the calendar, you'll find that particular workshop seminar for 2 solid days. There will be a third day on Friday, a bonus for those who join us. This is not an inexpensive lecture seminar by any means. This is for serious people who want to get the truth, as no one else is putting it out there, that can be immediately and practically applied, and so that absolutely definable and observable results in the body for virtually any condition, life-threatening or otherwise, can and will potentially be observed. And that is what this is about. That is what truth does. It is not about an individual practitioner. It is not about a magic pill in a bottle. It is about the whole ball of wax with the brilliance of a man who can understand how the body is designed to function and conform his work to support that, rather than to try to build a name for himself because he's got some patented widget or patented product that he can hang on to for as long as possible before people figure out it ain't working. This works. pwbseminars.com. And with that, I managed to, this is a man, like I say, for 6 years. It's been 6 years since I've been able to get this man in front of the public this way. And we all need to hear and learn what he knows. And he also has a body of work that is massive. If he has to prove his existence, there's no problem. He has published works, books, nearly his entire lifetime of work in one form or another is going to be made available to participants of this workshop. Everything that's valid now, and it's going to be included in the cost. You're not going to get there and we're going to hit you with a bunch of additional costs. No, it's all up front. You're going to know, for those who wish. Those who don't wish to participate, perfectly fine. But I already have a person from out of the country just heard today that Doc is going to be here 13th and 14th. Put it on her calendar, no question, she's coming, and she's got to come back from out of the country. This man is the best in the world. Now, we're talking about the power of nature and how it all works together. Again, look at these slides, unless you're listening to this on radio, and you see the awesome beauty and detail that goes on in this man's head, and what you are going to be getting and how precise and concise it all is. Doc, when you work with these, with me, I have the support for the body, I have the strains, all of this. However, even the subtleties of the energies and what I would say turning the cells on, you start talking about neurons, neuron pathways and all, and oh my gosh, and yet it makes total sense. And you're able to make this understandable to the lay people. In fact, you're even able to make it understandable for some of the doctors.
We really come to terms with trusting in the wisdom in nature, which is infallible. And then as the picture gets bigger and we understand more of the details of how the body works and how it interfaces with nature, we're really able to simplify, because what it comes down to is basically 3 things we have to worry about. The ecosystem is restoring the ecosystem and how cells communicate with one another. Restoring the neuron function so that the neurons are working more optimally at the polar lipid level, and then nourishing the cells and getting the cells, this crosstalk between all the cells, to work more harmoniously. That's basically what we're teaching. And then defining exactly, how the body breaks down, where it breaks down, that kind of thing. But it's the same focus, that is nourishing the body's inner position, cleansing the body's inner position, and restoring the ecosystem that was originally installed in our body.
Doc, would you agree that the body is designed to cleanse its own cellular, environment? That the body is designed to nourish its own body cells? That the body is designed to do all this? We were never supposed to, on a regular basis, do specific cleanses that are harsh to the body. In many cases, drive it further out of balance, whether it be liver cleanses. Isn't it true that if the body's supported across the board properly, in both the energy, the harmonics, the the polar lipids, the nutrition, the pre-digested, fermented, all this that you've been talking about, and I can't wait to hear all of what I haven't heard yet. The body does this and does it more efficiently, including you know how to support the body's ability to even get rid of some of the really tough stuff. What's some of that tough stuff that like metals and radioactive? I mean, we got a real problem with radioactivity out there, Doc.
Yeah, there's mock plutonium now that's entering the food chain from the Japan nuclear crisis. And there's all kinds of solvents. An increase in solvents are hard to get out. Solvents called terminal pancreatic cancer in my own case. And it took me years to figure out how to get the solvents out. But basically, if that microbial system, if our ecosystem is intact, these microbes produce compounds that help the solvents come out. But unless we put all 300 strains back and we learn how to do that, then there's no way that these solvents can be detoxified to the point where they're not promoting and inducing cancer and inflammation constantly in the body.
Doc, primarily because of you and because I've been on your core support for the body, and I've done a little other, but right now I support my body primarily with 2 capsules of Biotical Plus, the polar lipids, and Quanta Water catalyst in the pure water that I drink, so it's alive, and that's pretty much it. And I'm 61 years old. I'm overweight. I don't have any medications in my body, over the counter or under the counter, and I'm generally pretty healthy. But I'm slightly overweight, a little more than slightly at times. But you, quote, read my mail in terms of just telling me what was going on and what I needed to do to tweak this body so that I could lose that weight, because it's been very difficult, and I know how to do it. And you said, yeah, it's this, and I'm like, it rang so true. Now I go in that direction, and I know a ton of people would come to a workshop seminar like this for 2 days just to know why they haven't been able to shed that weight or keep it off. You can use gimmicks, you can starve yourself to death, but if you have these toxins, if you have this misfiring, if you have these challenges, this inflammation in the body, and you don't know why, you don't do anything about it, well then we can't blame the body, can we? And it's not necessarily our diet, is it?
Yes. Detoxification is primarily done by the 300 strains of microbes in our gut. And that's what most nutritionists and doctors just don't get today. You can't force detoxification. You can't support the liver only and forget about the nervous system that controls the liver, nor the microbial system that feeds the liver nourishment. Everything's connected. So the idea is to restore the functional unity, to restore wholeness, so that the body can work the way it was originally designed to function in natural and normal physiology.
But so what is this about the polar lipids that you've been on this for a long time, and you've made some major breakthroughs in this?
Yeah. Major breakthrough in the understanding of nerve transmission by Dr. Thomas Heimberg and Andrew Jackson, University of Copenhagen, Denmark. What they found out, for the first time ever, they were able to scientifically explain how anesthesia works. Before that, how anesthesia worked was a mystery in modern medicine, but they defined it on the lipid bilayer of neurons. And what they found out about the lipid bilayer is that it contains charges, a battery effect. And if we consume oils that are peroxidized, which is so common today, including fish oils, all these fatty acid products, they're all peroxidized. What happens is we turn these neurons, we turn them off, we diminish them. I wouldn't say turn them off, but we certainly diminish their functional status, so they're not able to regenerate, they're not able to control digestion, they're not able to control detoxification and hormone balance. We don't need to supplement hormones, we don't need hormone replacement, we need to manufacture them correctly. And we can if the microbial system is intact.
Well, you certainly have made it clear to me why it's important to have those polar lipids, and you've made it clear how the man-made chemicals and even our own supplements and herbs have contributed to the toxicity and dysfunction of the body, instead of providing the resources and the actual support that the cells need. Can you touch on that? I'm not meaning this to be a whole educational seminar, but with you, if we just skim the cream off the top of your brain, it's overwhelming for some of us. But I want people to know just how deep this is going to go on, in these 2 days.
There are at least 30 scientific studies that show ion deregulation is the principal force behind most neurological and neurodegenerative disorders. And so we need to think about this neuron level. We need to think about enhancing nerve transmission, or soliton waveforms, as they're called. And then we need to think about how that nervous system gets nourishment from the ecosystem, and also how the ecosystem works in harmony with the human cells in nourishing the body. So human nourishment, as we know it, predominantly comes from our ecosystem, which we host. We host this community of 300 strains of microbes with a rich genetic diversity. If we make that community diverse, and if we broaden it, potential to heal is unlimited.
Well, you have become very, very practical in the last few years, and even what is used to produce these results. I mean, as you talk, I can hear people's brains going, oh my gosh, this must be a lot of stuff I have to do and learn. And, you don't give patients a lot of stuff anymore, do you?
Oh, not. It's really a matter of learning what the stresses are. What is stressing my inner position? What is diminishing its potential, that superorganism potential? What just putting a lid on this awesome intelligence in my body so that it can't work to keep me healthy? It really comes down to a simple concept of nourishment and cleansing and restoring the natural cycles that are in every level of nature, ecosystem cycles.
And yet it does matter how you do it, because you said words that I've heard other healers say, and yet they use programs that no longer work. And the reason they don't work is often that the body is shut down like it's never been before because of all the new factors, electronics particularly, the radioactivity and the radiation. These are really affecting the body. And the food, all GMO, genetically modified food, worthless, no energy in the water, no energy in the vegetables and foods. So what is it that's going to bring life? Well, Doc, I think without question, those who take advantage of those 2 days in October, 13 and 14, here in Dallas, Texas, are going to potentially prolong their lives by many years, and for their children, save their children tens of thousands of dollars and years of frustration because of the knowledge they receive. And your time, I know what 2 days means to you, either with your family or in your research or in your clinical work. So for you to give us those 2 days in October, I really appreciate it. And on behalf of everyone listening to this, thank you very much. And I will let them know at pwbseminars.com, www.pwbseminars.com, exactly how to get to the seminar and make sure they have a spot. By the way, there is very limited seating. This is not going to be, a coliseum. Cannot be. This is not the way I like to see Dr. Yanik teach, and it's an intimate type of teaching and very hands-on. So for that, Doc, I appreciate you again. God bless.